It's Josh's. He's been
Okay.
doing it like this so we remember the way we go.
I should
Right.
have figured that out.
Until he throws a wrench in the fucking program and like it fucks up everything. Like
Yeah, I'll just keep putting myself second, so I get every pick.
until he like adds until we get like a guess. That's when it's gonna be the wrench getting thrown
Yeah,
into everything.
that's when. Yeah, like Mateo. I mean, not Mateo. Tony.
Tony.
My cousin Tony.
Ah!
Did you just throw up?
No.
Oh, it says
I
we're
forgot to
live.
plug up my
Are we
laptop.
live?
Are we live?
Okay, I didn't even notice the
Hello?
live symbol. Okay. Boop, boop, bop, bop, bop.
Yeah, we're live. Man.
We're live? Alright, cool. Well, welcome to Batyards Finest, everybody, where we bring you the latest news in Batman, Superman, pop culture, and other stuff that's movie related and TV wise and comic book. I'm just cutting it short with that because we're going to jump into a podcast that is going to be actually pretty bizarre than I thought it was going to be. So, this episode was supposed to have the short was going to be JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. What is
Battle
it? New
tendencies.
York. Thank you. New York JoJo's, but we had a little issue that made it more bizarre. So it's going to be Stone Ocean's first episode, Stone Ocean. And we're going to have the, what's it called? The actual main event is going to be the movie called Fury that came out in 2014. It's the tank movie with Brad Pitt. And my other co hosts.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Josh from Metropolis. Hi. I screwed everything up. It's my fault.
It's okay.
I'm eating sunflower seeds, so I'm a sunflower seed farmer today.
Okay. Thank you, Jerry. So right before we jump into anything else, do we have BS? Anybody go for it? We're not sponsored by David.
The best sunflower brand. I want to open with that.
Okay.
Wait, what?
Jerry's giving us a free sponsor.
Is the best sunflower seed brand, and there is no brand better than when it comes to sunflowers. And if you eat ranch flavored sunflower seeds, you are a weirdo.
I usually go with the barbecue or just the plain.
Barbecue's all right.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like terrible, but it's like that coating. It gets real like.
Yeah, it's you only can eat a certain amount. You can't just go overboard with them. It's the perfect one if you want to keep eating them and saving those.
So the DC news I wanted to say is James Gunn is running helm of DC Comics movies coming out. Basically, they're retconning everything, and Superman. The movies that are to be released under the new universe, basically, it's going to be Superman Legacy, The Authority, which I don't know what that is, Brave and the Bold, which is going to be a Batman and Robin movie,
Okay.
Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, and Swamp Thing. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. I'd rather have Superman. The Superman movie be called Superman, the Man of Tomorrow, instead of Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, because that's always a title of a Superman movie that I wanted.
Yeah, it's kind of like backwards, but okay.
I'm not really. Well, shouldn't it be Supergirl, Girl of Tomorrow? She's not even a woman yet. So
yeah, she's still a perpetual teenager.
Is she like 14 or 15 or something like that?
She's like 16.
She's like 16.
Okay.
Because she got stuck in that loop around the sun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she got like stuck in space and like she landed on Earth like way later, and I guess like she was in suspended animation for that whole time period while Clark Kent was growing into a man.
Yeah, so it's like technically in age she's a woman, but in physiology she's still a teenager.
And mentally she's a teenager.
Yeah.
Everything.
But in terms of power, she's fucking raw.
Yeah. I don't know. Obviously, the one I'm most interested in is Superman Legacy because it seems like they're taking inspiration from All-Star Superman, which is one of my favorite Superman comic books. The Authority, I don't even know what that is. And the Brave and the Bold, so they're getting a new Batman.
Michael Keaton.
No, it's going to be like a new cast. So they're going to They're gonna have the Robert Pattinson Batman and this going on. Like all this shit is so confusing. All this stuff.
They should have
like the Aquaman movie and the Flash trailer, the Flash that we're gonna talk about. Like it feels like, and Shazam too. It feels like it doesn't even matter. So like, why even watch these movies?
I'm gonna support Shazam strictly because out of everything DC has put out the last 4-5 years, I'm not gonna include Henry Cavill's Batman and Christian Bale's Batman. I said Henry Cavill's Batman. Henry Cavill's Superman. But like since Wonder Woman and Aquaman, Shazam has been the best thing DC has put out. And I know I'm not gonna say a lot. I know some people hate it, but I'm like, Shazam was so good. Like it fit everything perfectly.
Yeah, I like Shazam a lot. That's like the one. The second one, I'm curious to watch. I guess like this retcon's kind of weird because they're keeping some of the cast from the other universe. So like the Amanda Waller, Viola Davis, they're gonna keep her apparently, and then there's talks that they're gonna keep Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman.
I thought they let her go.
No, they didn't let her go.
It's like up in the air.
Yeah,
it's like not 100%. I don't know.
It's so confusing with her.
The whole thing is confusing.
Yeah.
And then imagine being an average movie audience member, not knowing any of this stuff. Going blind.
Are they still gonna have Jason Momoa be Lobo?
That's what's supposedly the hint out there that he's gonna.
He's definitely in talks of being casted for something, and he's in line for something. He mentioned something on Instagram that he's excited for, like a role that's coming up. So like, that's what's the rumor is. I guess they're talking to Henry Cavill about another role in the universe.
Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense.
Well, if I was like,
that's a slap in the face. I'm not gonna lie. You're literally taking the man from a good fucking role for him and putting him something else.
Yeah,
it's so fucking stupid.
DC Comics, I think they should do Elseworld stories. Like just maybe keep a universe and do Elseworld stories like they're kind of doing with the Batman and the Joker crap. I almost feel like the Joker and the Batman should be in the same universe, but they already fucked up, so that's not gonna happen. And I feel like they should do Elseworld stories. So like if they should keep Henry Cavill as Superman, but do like a Red Sun version of Superman with Henry Cavill.
I'd like that. I think that'd be
pretty neat.
That would be interesting. And utilize the character and the actor in a new way, and people would get confused and go like, "Oh, this is, what's up with Superman?" And they would go like, "Oh, this is a different story because it's Superman in Russia, so obviously it's something else." It wouldn't be,
Would you have Batman in Russia, or would that be a different situation?
Well, he's in that story, so you would have to have Batman.
All right, so that means the Batman that would fit that the most, I'm not gonna lie, is freaking Ben Affleck's Batman, because he's kind of like that same setup.
That the whole three, the big main three, Gal Gadot, Ben Affleck, and Henry Cavill, they could be in that movie.
So fucked up thing.
They're all three of them are in that story.
That's how you get
recast Lex Luthor, because that Lex Luthor is ass. Fucking Jesse Eisenberg. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why that was a cast decision. That's a whole discussion for another podcast. So
he was only in one thing I liked, and I don't know why they put him as Lex Luthor.
What was the one thing you liked that he was in?
I have to look it up. I'll do it toward the end of the episode.
I know he was in
I just liked him in
the Social Network. Like he's a good actor, but he's not Lex Luthor.
No, he's not Lex Luthor. He's totally different.
He was good in the Social Network, and in Zombieland. He was good.
Yeah, Zombieland. That's what it was.
Mostly everything I've seen him in is like mostly is the Zombieland stuff and like some other bullshit movies where he's just goofing around, and he's more like the scaredy cat or like the shy one of the group.
The Riddler. He would have worked as the Riddler. But
I can see that.
Not Lex Luthor at all.
What about Polka Dot Man?
Fine, sure. Anything else? Anything but Lex Luthor.
Oh god. But I want to jump back to how you guys are talking about the Shazam movie, the second one. From watching that video that you sent me on Instagram with freaking with James Gunn talking about his up and coming movies for DC and how they're gonna. Supposedly, he said that he's gonna try to make Shazam 2 work in his universe
He
No,
did.
he's not.
somehow.
Yeah,
That's how he
a weird
said.
that's a weird thing because like some of
He
it's gonna be
said,
kinda in the same continuity and some of
yeah.
it is. So it's like
So
so confusing.
So
I don't
It's
know
almost
how
like a
it's gonna
soft
work.
reboot. It's almost
It's
like
like
they're doing like the original Star Wars and then like soft rebooting like the new trilogy. You know what I mean? It almost feels like
Uh,
that.
it's weird because
it's a
it's like
weird
they're
Yeah.
trying to go with the new 52, but it's like we like some things that we've done, so we're gonna take the good parts of that and just leave everything else out.
Yeah.
And for
Um,
me, it's like I just recently started getting back into comics again, so I know like there's a several year span of just things that have happened that I don't know about yet and I haven't caught up on. But what they're doing, what DC's trying to do with this whole reboot and recast thing, you should, if I was, like Josh said, if I was James Gunn and I was leading all this, Ezra Miller is gone. He should have been
yes.
gone.
he would have been
Yes. He
gone.
should have been gone a long
All
time
of his,
ago.
like the first thing he got in trouble for public, intoxication and harassment, whatever. I've been like,
Oh, the
all
one where he
right,
choked out the lady?
no, he didn't choke. That was the other one. Like the very first time he got drunk and started yelling at people. I would have told him, okay, this is your slap on the wrist. Anything you do past that, we're gonna have to talk about your career in here.
I'm not gonna lie. I think the second offense was the one when he did the choke out on the lady. I think that was the one he should have got.
That was
booted
like
out
the
for.
first one too. That was
I
like
thought it
the
was the first
thing.
one. I thought that was the first one, general. But
It was.
I'm not gonna lie. I think that would have been like his first. Like that's out the door for me. I'm like, all right, you're attacking the fans or so-called fans. Now we don't need that shit. And I'll drop him and I went to CW and I'll pick up that Barry Allen.
I know there's some
Now,
people
bro,
out there who are comic book fans that are boycotting the movie because of Ezra Miller is a wacko. But
It just
yeah.
feels like the episode with South Park where the oil company and they just keep saying, "We're sorry."
Oh, the BP oil spill.
Yeah, and it just feels like that every time when a celebrity hits like an issue, they just apologize, and it's okay for us to be work with them again and see them in the movies. And I'm like, I'm getting
No.
tired. I'm tired of the I'm sorry for my actions. No, you did them. Fuck you. You're out. You're
Like
out.
Ezra Miller should be blacklisted from DCEU entirely. What else?
Like
What
no,
else
like
did they do?
there's actors that probably did less than him and got blacklisted for no reason.
No,
And
100%. There definitely are.
they're like it doesn't make sense for this kid to get the golden ticket to just keep going. Just no, you just cut it off. Fuck it.
The next thing I'm doing, I'm making a good fucking Green Lantern movie.
There. Hey, man.
I think they're supposed to make a show. I think there's a Green Lantern show coming.
Yeah, it's supposed to be with Jon Stewart, and it looks really good.
Does it? I haven't seen anything on it.
Is it animated or is it a live action?
I believe animated.
Okay, so it won't be that bad. Just need to get the writing down. Their animations is amazing. All their
like the animation for it looks good. I saw a couple of the previews and shorts that they put out for it. I was really into it because it looks like they're doing Jon Stewart for sure, but that looks like they're giving him more of a timid role instead of being the headstrong Green Lantern and Marine that we know. They're having him be kind of timid with a little bit of self-doubt, which I do like because you're going from being a regular guy to being
Guardian.
one of the best GLs in their history as a human.
Like, does it start off as like a boot up for him? Like he gets the ring, or is it like, or is it
I think it's
like,
a boot up because it's been a while since I've seen those previews. So if somebody has seen them recently, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. But it starts off like every Green Lantern. the ring appears in front of him saying his name and you've been chosen to join the Green Lantern Corps. And then, the ring attaches to him and he's whisked away to Ola.
Okay.
And then, he's Kilowog. He does the basic training and everything and so on and so forth. I actually need to see. I think that actually might be out now. It's supposed to be on HBO Max.
That I haven't seen on HBO Max at all. It's from let me look, because last time I was on HBO Max was like probably a week ago.
While you're looking that up, I wanted to talk about Flash trailer. That came out during the Super Bowl. The biggest thing that I'm excited for is obviously the Michael Keaton Batman. They have what's his name? I almost said Bruce Campbell. Ben Affleck's Batman's in it as well, and it basically is DC's version of what is it called? The Spider-Man movie, Far From Home or whatever.
Far From Home.
What? Yeah, it's basically DC's answer to that. So they basically, instead of having Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, it's Michael Keaton Batman. So they're like merging all these different universes. And apparently in DC's canon, the Superman the movie and Batman 89 is in the same universe. Like Christopher Reeve's Superman is in the same universe as 89's Batman. So I wonder if they're going to address that at all. If they're going to show a Christopher Reeve cameo or something. Yeah, and I guess they showed Supergirl. I wanted to get your guys' thoughts.
I couldn't find anything on the Green Lantern.
Okay.
But as far as the Batman trailer goes, I'm happy that they brought back Michael Keaton. It was, when I watched it, I'm like, that guy looks like Michael Keaton, just from the physique and everything. And then I saw the face and I'm like, oh shit, that's Michael Keaton. I think it's really good that they're bringing him back into his new movie. And they're having Ezra Miller play a supporting character. I'm just curious if he's going to play like Thomas Wayne Batman or Bruce Wayne Batman.
The way they have him in his costume, it's not Thomas Wayne style, so I'm assuming he's.
Are you talking about Michael Keaton?
Michael Keaton.
Yeah, Michael Keaton.
Yeah. Oh no, Michael Keaton is definitely 89 Batman. Like it's the same. Okay. He's the same Batman, 100%. Because like they show the costumes and everything. He's wearing the same suit.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, I mean, it's a little updated.
It has the blue,
and then they showed the background of like multiple suits that he had, and they showed the 89 suit, which is like in the back, and it's all charred and burned up from the first movie. And they showed the Batman Returns suit. It's 100% Bruce Wayne Batman, 89 Batman. So I don't know. I don't know exactly what they're.
I think it's gonna be all right.
I don't think it's.
I'm not particularly excited for it, but I think it'll do good as far as the box office is concerned. But I think with the critic response and the audience reviews, I personally think that's what's gonna eat it alive, and deter people away. And they'll say, like all moviegoers, the classic. I'd watch it once, and I'd only watch it again if somebody invited me to.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna just watch it one time.
Yeah,
that's what. Just for Michael Keaton. Then fucking, there's 2 Ezra Millers. There's not just one. They have to torture us with 2 of them. So like, we have to get through that to even get like the good stuff. And I feel like they blew their load too quick with Michael Keaton. Like they should have saved that for the movie and not the trailer. But
because he's honestly
why I'm going to see it.
Like, whenever there's not a scene with Michael Keaton, I'm going to go to sleep, honestly.
When there's 2 fucking Ezra Millers, like there's already like the Flash was already annoying as fuck, and then they got 2 of them. Like,
well,
how annoying!
Supposedly, the other Flash doesn't even have powers yet, but he gets powers later. It's a weird thing. I watched a person break down what's going on with this Flash movie. It's like a fucking weird fucking mess. So we actually get like 3 Barry Allens. We get the one, you get the original one, you get the other one, and then we get the witness young Barry Allen going through the bullshit. So that's what's happening. And like nobody understands who the fucking villain is because they bring back the freaking bring back Zod
Zod.
from freaking from
Zod.
Man of
General
freaking
Zod.
yes,
Man of Steel.
Man of Steel. They bring him back, and there's no Superman
Yeah, which is
technically at this
stupid.
point in this universe that he's in. So like he's just wrecking shit. So it's not even like doesn't make
They
any
can't
sense.
do that. General Zod is Doomsday.
Yeah, they just
I'm
made it all
fine with them retconning that because it doesn't make.
They
I'm
should
fine with
retcon
it
that 'cause
too.
That
I'm
was
fine.
a stupid idea.
Yeah,
That was
beginning.
awful.
That
I
was-
just had to throw the joke in.
No,
they
yeah,
made
no,
a
you're
fucking
right. But,
cave
like,
troll.
They should. It should like. Nevertheless, like General Zod, bring General Zod back. It would be more of an important statement if it was General Zod facing off Superman,
Yeah,
like where they already have
Yeah.
established history. But instead, he's facing off Supergirl, which none of the audience has met. Neither has Zod. So like, there's no
Zod doesn't
character
even know
connection.
she
The thing
exists
is-
at this point, right?
yeah, no.
No one knows she existed.
Nobody. Like
She
at this
looks
point, what?
She looks like she's been being studied like by the US government. Basically, it looks like she broke out and was being studied by the US government like they were studying her for a while. And that's basically what they did in Flashpoint. Instead of Superman landing in Kansas, he lands in Metropolis, and then the US government takes a hold of the baby. Instead of being landed on the Kent's doorstep, the government takes him and they just basically put him under red sun heat lamps and just like he's like decaying and like dying. And it's really depressing. But like he breaks
Damn.
out because of Flashpoint, because of the Flash. And that's the only life he knew was just like being in prison. And it seems like they're giving that storyline to the Supergirl because it looked like she was like kind of breaking
Okay,
in the trailer.
I don't know.
I also still have some reservations about the Flash movie. Well, not even the movie, but the trailer. I feel like they're gonna try to sneak in, not even sneak in, because they're gonna just blatantly put it in front of us. I feel like they're gonna oversaturate it too much with stuff that they're gonna try to do with this new wave of movies, and it's just gonna take up too much time for them just to go through like, oh, there's this that's about to happen, and we haven't even gotten to that point in what the fuck they're trying to plan.
I bet they're gonna use this as their excuse to like reamp the universe because I mean that's what the comics did. It was like Barry Allen did Flashpoint. Is someone's computer like volume on? Because I keep hearing my voice. Anyway, when I'm talking. Anyway, like that's what happens in the in Flashpoint. Like he goes back in time, he basically retcons everything, and then when he comes back, it's the new 52 universe. So I have a feeling the DC is basically going to use this as a retcon for for their new universe. I guess it seems like they did a lot of reshoots too. I heard there was a Henry Cavill cameo, but I think they took that out. I heard they already filmed it, and they had like a Gal Gadot cameo and a Henry Cavill cameo, and apparently they took those cameos out because of the new casting and whatever.
Yeah, I personally, I'm not too, like I said before, I'm not too excited or thrilled for it. I'm only gonna watch it strictly to see what is going to be the next shovel of shit they put in front of me, because I don't see DC's live action universe lasting too much longer with these honestly hypercritical choices that they're making. and how they're just being so laissez-faire with letting actors go, canceling projects. Well, canceled because it's now Discovery Warner Brothers. And then the fact that, they brought in James Gunn from Marvel and he has his own set of ideas he has for the universe.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like there's going to be too much of a clash of interest.
There's a big clash. There already is a clash.
The thing is, for
maybe they're going to clean slate a little bit. Like, I'm excited what James Gunn is going to do because, like, he done the Guardians of the Galaxy, and I like his Peacemaker series, and I like the second Suicide Squad that he directed. But it's like it's almost oversaturation.
I don't know. I feel like right now, like DC should just take a relax and just break for a bit.
Agree.
Like, take a break because right now Marvel.
I would definitely agree.
Because right now Marvel is actually failing in their like universe. Also, they're taking hits.
People are like getting sick of it. People are getting sick of it.
The wave of like the era of superheroes for our generation and some of like the other generations behind us slightly is kind of now dying. So like, let's just wait until the actual next wave, the next little burst of superhero to come around, because we had the nice little 80s patch that came. We had like the 60s patch, we had the 80s patch, then we had the 2000s patch. Let's give it a little, like, another 20-year wait or like 10-year wait on it.
I wouldn't say 20 years. That's a little excessive.
That's a long time.
I would say like 5 years.
I think I definitely agree with that because I still haven't caught up on any of the Marvel TV shows. But I know something that kills it for me is, and I'm not saying this, like it's bad, but you can tell it's kind of killing creative direction and freedom. Like, all movies, especially Marvel, they're trying to, like, all their movies and all their shows, they're either trying to be all inclusive with how they portray people, or they just have.
Bye, Jerry.
Jerry, where did you go?
Jerry, where'd you go?
Jerry, come back.
Hey, gone.
You're on the phone, but you're not on the screen.
Oh God.
Anyway, while we wait for Jerry, I do have to agree with what you guys are saying. Like, there's there's Jerry. There's like over saturation with all these shows, and like even like Marvel's like kind of failing at this point. Like, the only thing I'm interested in Marvel, like, I don't care about the new Ant-Man. The only thing I care about in seeing with Marvel is Spider-Man, because that they left it on a cliffhanger, on like no one knows who he is, and like, what is he gonna do next? That's the only character I am interested in seeing what's gonna happen. Everything else in this universe, I could really care less. Like, maybe I'm kind of interested in the new Guardians. I know that came out, a new trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy 3, because that's been consistent, pretty good, and James Gunn's at the helm of that as well. So, like, I basically all I care about is the Guardians and Spider-Man with Marvel.
No, I'm right there with you because I'm excited for. Well, I'm not gonna say excited, but I'm sitting on pins and needles for the Ant-Man movie because they're bringing in Kang the Conqueror, and Kang the Conqueror is a huge multiversal threat because of all his different personas that he has across the multiverse. So I'm curious, and I'm curious to see, are we finally going to start bringing in people from the fucking multiverse? Are we going to get good X-Men? Are we going to get good Fantastic Four?
They're definitely going to do X-Men Fantastic Four. I think that's like the next step.
They already claimed that Deadpool 3 is going to be somewhat attached to the Marvel universe now. So somehow, some way, Deadpool is getting added in because everyone's saying this is the first MCU rated R movie. So everyone's trying to figure out if both Deadpool and Wolverine go to the MCU somehow in a way, or just Deadpool, because Hugh Jackman's back as a Wolverine and getting fit for this fucking role. And we don't know if he's going to continue onwards.
He's
and nobody really knows. But I'm gonna go see Ant-Man with my dad and his godson, so I'll let you guys know like how it is, like if
Does
it's
that come out
good or
this week
not.
or is that next week?
It already came out
I
Thursday
think it's
night,
already
so
out. Yeah.
Okay.
it's already out. So I'm going to see on Sunday night,
Did you guys
and I'll let
see
you know.
Black Panther 2? Was that?
I
heard
still
that was
haven't
really
watched
good.
it.
I haven't
You haven't
yet.
seen it? People are telling me
No.
like that aren't like really Marvel fans that it's very towards watching it. And I even heard people say it's better than the first one. So I
I
was like,
get
oh,
told I get mixed feelings on it. I get told like don't see it. Maybe just go see it once. To like this I hear whatever. It's just like a weird mix up.
Mm-hmm.
I
I
hear
need
one
to
thing
watch
and
it.
like it I heard it lost money to actually its budget. So like I don't know. I heard it's not. It's a good one of the good part of movies of the phase, but it's not helping the phase progress more the money wise for like Disney. That's like another reason why. That's like one thing I was gonna bring up. Disney's taking a super hit from all this Marvel and Star Wars stuff that they're trying to pull out. They're
yeah,
killing
too much.
off ideas. Like they're killing off like shows that they're gonna do and
If
putting
they
on more
cancel The
back burners.
Mandalorian, I'm going to Disney's
No,
HQ
no.
I
and
think
I'm
that's the only
shitting
thing they're
on the
keeping.
I
director's
think
desk.
they got to keep Mandalorian right now. Supposedly I saw an announcement of like the new Star Wars movie. It's supposed to get announced in like for some Star Wars con in like the UK is going to announce
Yeah.
it, but at the same point, like
I
I
heard
just heard news that they're not going to give us anything really new from Star Wars.
I heard they're talking to Daisy Ridley, like maybe reprising her role with like like
Well, I heard
cares about her.
I heard rumors that they're retconning her last name to make her a Kenobi instead of a Skywalker because they want a different path and they want to retcon
They already
the
fucked
three
up.
old
It's already
movies.
fucked up.
So yeah, I know. There's like a lot of shit with John Favreau and all that crap going on with that, but I haven't heard any other new news on what they're doing with her at all.
I'm
It's
gonna
really sus.
hold. I'm gonna hold that thought, and I'm gonna revisit it later.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
I agree with that.
Hmm.
All right, but does anyone else have any other BS? Okay, Josh, I see you. Go for it. If you want to talk about the play, you found it.
It
You
was
found
on
your
my
play?
desk this whole time. I just want to say,
Nice.
Matt and I saw the MJ musical. If you want to know our thoughts about it, we did a review on it. It's gonna come out. That's
Yes,
all
we
I have to say. So there you go.
It's still going on, and I'll give you this: it's worth fucking seeing. Just go have fun. It's amazing. And it's worth the money. It's worth the time watching it. There's never a dull moment.
Yeah, the little Michael Jackson is really good. He's
Mhm.
like he's posting like Instagram stories of him saying like
Does he?
Jackson 5 stuff, and he's like hitting all the time. He's really good. What was his account? I don't remember his name. Just follow it anyway. You'll find it.
Before we move onwards, I did find something on the Green Lantern thing. It was on HBO Max. I did go to HBO Max and look it up. Was it called Green Lantern? Beware My Power.
That's
that's it.
bro.
Because it came out in
No,
2022 and it's an hour and a half movie.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, I think that was it.
So you got Jon Stewart, then we got Hawk Girl, and then we got Green Arrow. And who's the yellow lantern with the green with the that's red with the red skin? With pointy
Sinestro,
ears. That's it. That's like what it
douchebag.
shows.
That's what he is. He's a
That's what it shows
douchebag.
on the cover here.
it's in that Tomorrow verse. So remember that movie we watched, Matt?
Yeah,
With Superman. It's in that universe.
this one.
I forget what the movie's called already. What one? Yeah,
This one
Superman,
you're talking
Man of
about?
Tomorrow. Yeah, it's in that universe. It's
Okay.
connected to that. I guess that's why it's called the Tomorrowverse. See, I would rather have Superman be the movie be titled Man of Tomorrow instead of Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. It just sounds convoluted and dumb. I don't like that
Supergirl, person of the future.
I'm not that big of a fan of Supergirl. Like, I like her as an additional character to Superman, but like her as a main character is not very interesting to me.
Well, hopefully, they can do it like they give her better personality than they do to Captain Marvel.
The only
So-
thing I know about Supergirl is that one time she got a Red Lantern ring and she went on a fucking murder spree, and people were terrified.
I'd rather see that.
I would too.
character.
I
would
would be
rather see that.
terrified also.
There was
it's
there was
fucking
one
terrifying.
storyline. There's another storyline where she lands on Earth and then Darkseid basically takes her over and turns her into like an apocalyptic basically like one of his slaves, like she'll do his bidding, and she just becomes like nasty, like terrible. And but the Batman and Superman to revert her back to like her original Kryptonian self. But that is a very interesting storyline. I like that. I don't know. I like Supergirl as a side character. I'm not very interested in Supergirl as her own thing. It's like, I don't know. If you take Superman out of Supergirl, it's like, what's the point? You know? Really? You know? I honestly think Batgirl is a more interesting character than Supergirl.
I do like Batgirl, but I'm also a fan of Barbara Gordon.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. That's what I mean.
Because Barbara Gordon brought such a unique element to Batman. Because not only was she Gordon, family to Commissioner Gordon, but she also, at one point in time, was the main squeeze of Bruce Wayne, which was, I still think that's weird, personally.
I think they did that in like that one movie, and it was like no one liked it.
The Killing Joke.
Yeah. No one liked that.
They did in The Killing Joke, and you're like, why are they doing this? Because that was like, they added that like a 10-minute segment or a 10-15-minute segment of that. Like a build up to that scene. And then after that, you see her get shot.
I like her and Nightwing together, and I think most fans do.
Her Nightwing or her and the Red Hood.
I get it. I would be, I know there's like some incarnations too where like Batgirl and Batman like hook up like way later, when they're like when she's like maybe in her 30s,
That's fine.
I don't really have that much of a problem with. That's like okay, fine.
There's 30-year-olds with like 70-year-olds.
Yeah, I don't think. Well, I guess he would be like 60.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
He's retired by then, all right?
Anyway.
Anybody else have anything BS related?
No.
Anything?
No.
I'm a chicken farmer now. I got dinner.
We could talk about the DC universe and how they fucked it like forever. So let's move on.
Okay. So we're gonna go to our short. That's gonna be JoJo's Bizarre Adventures Part 6, first episode, Stone Ocean. Josh, take it away.
Which one are we doing?
Because we talked about you watched that one, so we're going to talk about that one now.
Oh, okay. So I should try. Should I change the title of the video?
Yes.
Just leave it in post. We'll change it. We'll change it in post.
Okay. So what? So JoJo's Secret Adventure, whatever is this called?
It's a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. JoJo's Secret Adventure.
What is this one called? Bizarre Ocean?
This is Stone Ocean.
Stone Ocean. So it starts out with this girl, and her nickname is JoJo, and I think her full name is Jolene. She ends up to be in a prison, and happens sake that she is falsely accused for a murder, a hit and run, basically, because her boyfriend, I forget her boyfriend's name. Her boyfriend,
Romeo.
Her boyfriend was, Romeo. Yes, Romeo was driving, and basically he put the blame on her that she killed this person, like while they're driving, and she's falsely accused. They're she's en route to the prison itself. She meets a colorful cast of characters. She meets a friend on the bus. I forget her friend's name, and
Hermes.
yeah, Hermes. No, and uh, her dad, her estranged father, who she doesn't have much contact with, sends her a gift from this lawyer. And the lawyer's like, "Oh, your father sent you this to protect you." And all there is in the remnants of it is like a metal, basically a metal amulet that's like shaped like an Egyptian beetle. And within it, it contains a stone and a picture of her and her father, or it might be her mother and her father.
It's her mother.
I don't remember. It's one of them. Yeah, it's her mom. And she pricks her finger on it and she throws it down a storm cellar because she hates her dad. She's like, "Fuck you, dad." And then turns out that this magic beetle thing gave her superpowers, and she's able to control psychokinetic silly string out of her finger, and the silly string is able to listen into people's conversations from afar and cut people's heads off in their ears, and uh, so this is she learns how to control these powers and basically tries to like she just tries to fit in with the prison life, I guess, and try to survive. And that's this episode.
That was the best synopsis. That was everything I wanted it to be and more.
Yep. I was waiting. I was like, if it was the other episode, I was waiting for that one too. Oh god.
Well, usually I have like something in front of me, so like I have something to go back on. That was just like me fucking riffing. So there it is.
Like how we do it.
Yeah. I don't like it that way. It's too scary.
Welcome to the club.
No. So yeah, so we're supposed to watch a different episode, but I watched the wrong episode, so now we're here.
It's
This is what's
Netflix fault.
happening.
Yeah. And due to that, me and Jerry are big fans of the series. We already seen the episode and we know it enough, so we're just gonna roll with this. We were
Yeah.
supposed to go with what's it called? JoJo's
Battle
Bizarre
Tendency.
Adventure, Battle Tendency, New York's JoJo, and due to Netflix is so freaking weird because in the past they made it into seasons,
It does
and
not
now
say
they
seasons
actually
anymore.
and now they changed it to actually what their arcs are of the anime show. So, including part 6 is the most recent and most popular season of the show now. So it just gave Josh part 6,
Yeah, so I
and
thought I
Josh
was starting on season 1, and
yeah.
I wasn't. So that's why I watched the silly string power episode.
So the other episode would have been coexisting with like the time period of what the main topics.
That's what I
like,
was curious.
based
I'm like,
in.
why did Matt pick this? This has like nothing to do with
No, yeah,
the
no,
war. And now I
we had a
understand.
hiccup.
It's my fault.
I wanted to throw you into the middle of that arc, but because it'd be taking more in place in World War II, but I know you, and you're gonna be like, "Why am I here? Who are these people?" And I wasn't.
I don't
Doing
like
that to
being
myself.
thrown in the middle of the story.
I know.
Like it's meant to
So I
be
was
viewed
throwing
like
you. So I was giving
I
you
hate
a
doing that.
starting point. So I gave you a starting point of the JoJo you were gonna go with during that season. So, but anywho, whatever. We're on season 6, Stone Ocean. So how did you like it, Josh? What did you have
yeah,
like?
So it opens
what
up
do
with
you
her
think, like, stuff?
basically. She's crying in her cell about how a guard watched her masturbating. Like, what the fuck? What is this? Why did Matt make me watch this?
I didn't choose the episode.
And she's like crying about it. There's a lot of weird sexual things. There was that, and then there's like a point where she goes into the other prison. They're like transporting her into another prison, and they're like gonna do like cavity search on her, and she just like strips, and then she's just like bending down, like arching
On
her
all
ass.
fours.
Yeah, it's like really weird, and I was like, okay, all right. Those were like the only two weird parts. I was like, what the fuck? Overall, I did enjoy it. Like I said, I mean, I watched more episodes. I was like, okay, I'm kind of curious what's going on. I kind of just let the next episode play, and then the following one after that, and then it turns out her silly string power is like a spirit that's within her, and it's I guess it's like her energy, like her spirit
It's called a
energy.
stand.
Her fighting spirit.
Yep. It's yeah, and it looks like a robot with disco glasses. Um, yeah, that's his spirit, and I guess like whoever else gets pricked by this Egyptian amulet also gets powers.
They
So
can
another
get them or they die. It's a 50-50.
Yes.
uh,
It's a coin toss. But the thing is, like, it's weird because when we first get established to that arrow, it's back in part 3. Yeah, thank you. Stars Crusaders. That's Stardust Crusaders. That's when we get introduced to it. So that's how like her family line ends up getting this ability that the fighter spirit, the stand, from that arrow because of like some incident of what their villain of that arc. But like it gave the funny thing is like it's weird because it gave like the grandfather and the grandson
Great
their
grandson.
abilities and the grand and even the mother abilities in a way without getting pricked by the arrow. So it kind of like throws me off with this one with Jolene that she didn't have powers from like the start because like it like basically like to spoil a little bit of it, the main villain takes over like their her
Their ancestral
great
grandfather.
yeah like it took over his body and stabbed himself with the arrow and it gave him his ability like the stand ability, and then after he got pricked everyone else got abilities other than like in the like further on in the ancestry line. And like it doesn't make sense why she didn't have hers in the beginning. I feel like it just awoken it and it didn't do anything really to like actually give her anything because she didn't really like Jerry said, it gives it a 50-50. It's a head like you die or you get a something.
okay.
Yeah. What do you
So
think about the
how do you know?
animation? Oh, what? Go ahead, finish your thought, Josh. I just had a question.
I was just gonna ask, like, how do you know if you're gonna die like
You
if the
don't.
character's gonna die
You
or not?
don't.
Okay, you don't.
You
Okay,
just don't. It
It
just
it
might
happens.
get
doesn't
a
So
matter
blood
about the
transfusion in the 1800s. You could live, or you could die.
yeah. I see.
yeah.
It's not like a moral compass kind of thing because some
No.
shitty characters get
No, because
powers.
the most you can be the best person in the world. You can be giving people like like money to charity, helping people out, giving people free houses, free cars, and everything,
And you
making
die
people's lives
horrifically.
easier. You can die. Then you can be a
Horrifically.
scumbag and yeah, you can be a scumbag and kill people, steal money from people, sell drugs to people, do all kinds of shit, and then you get a special ability power from it.
So I gotta ask you guys, would you chance
Yes.
it?
What?
Absolutely. Without a
Oh,
question.
Nah.
I'm not gonna lie. To see what fucking happens, maybe
And the
I'll go with Jerry.
reason
I'm
I
with this.
want
Yeah.
to chance it has to do with some little known facts that I'm pretty sure Crispy does not know either.
Is it part of the new series?
It actually has to deal with part 6, yes.
Okay. I don't know. Give it to me. What is this fact?
Yeah. Now you
But
got
before
it.
that, so Josh, what did you think of the animation style for this?
The animation was pretty neat. Obviously
Because
it's
it's
like newer.
some people
newer
like it, some people don't. I was just curious as to your thoughts
I
on
thought
it
it was
because I
I
like
thought it
it
was
a lot.
pretty yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, especially for like modern animation, I thought it did a neat balance of like not being too reliant on computer animation. I mean, the whole intro is computer animation, which is fine for the intro. But if like the
Mhm.
show is animated like that, I don't think I would like it nearly as
Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
much. I
That's
think
fair.
the animation's actually pretty good. Um, I gotta say, like the prison outfits are very unrealistic.
Oh
They
yeah, it's
they
JoJo's.
let them have like these buns and like their fucking navel point poking out and shit.
Well, it's also in Florida.
True.
I don't think that means anything, but okay.
Yes, it does.
It's Florida. Nothing makes sense.
So I thought it was interesting how it takes place in Florida. I understand this was a Warner Brothers product. So like, is this made in Japan or is this made in
Yeah.
the States?
It's made in Japan and it's made by Warner Brothers. Well, it's not made by them. It just kind of came through them.
Their distribute.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're the distributor.
It wasn't even a Netflix original until like last year. It wasn't.
really?
It was. It was
Yeah.
made by a different studio. It was put on like I
Mm.
think Crunchyroll and Funimation. I think
Yeah.
one of those two
How
prior.
Netflix weaseled their way in is beyond me.
Anime. It's weird with anime. Anime is like It's like a bidding war. Who airs it? Like right
I
now, there's a
see that.
show called was it Tokyo Avengers? That's getting like well, who has that one? That was like Hulu or is that HBO Max or Disney? Trying to remember. Like they won the bidding war. Like there's a show called Bleach. They're having their final season. Hulu won that bidding war. Now they only air it on their show on their stuff.
There's a lot more animes on Netflix than I even like.
Oh
Yeah,
no, anime Netflix like picked it up really hard for a while because it became a like mainstream for a really like in that time period.
Yeah, they have a shit.
So
Like they have Cowboy and Bebop.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I didn't know that.
because they had to put it on there once they picked up the live action show they had.
Oh, I know. Oh, they have One Punch Man. I knew that.
But
Matt
you
hates
should
One
have saw the
Punch.
animation. Mm, You should have saw the animation for JoJo's prior to this, like in the 2 seasons before this,
So when
like
Like
did
back
it
in part
first?
3.
It's
it
better.
first came out in 2012.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well,
So the
technically, it came
company
out in the
that animates this
90s.
is called David Productions, and they've been doing it for 10 years. Like, as far as the studio holding on to one project, like they're like one of the longest ones. Outside of like a couple of other like really, really big name ones who pick up several projects.
Mm.
And so it's like as each continuation of JoJo continues, you can see the techniques in their animation get more clear, more crisp, and a little more
Mhm.
almost hyper realistic, as far
Mhm.
as what you can do with animation is concerned.
Yeah, like part 4, was it Diamond? Was it Diamonds?
Unbreakable.
Unbreakable. Yeah, thank you. That one's where you get the change of animation like half the amount because the creator of the manga series he just changed animation. Like you've seen like if you go back to like the other arcs before this, they're more bulkier people. Like these people have like
They're
they're
700% muscle
bodybuilders.
mass and 0
Yeah.
fat.
Yeah, and they're like and the main characters are like 15 years old and they're just running around as like bulking freaking powerlifters. And then in part 4 came around, everyone just got back to a normal person, like body shape and the right muscle structure.
Mm-hmm.
okay.
All right, so now for the little known facts. So does the name Stone Ocean sound familiar in any way?
No.
Just gonna go with this.
Okay.
I'm just gonna go with this because every stand is named after a song, so it's a song.
Nope.
Am I wrong? Oh no,
What
okay.
about Stone Free, Crispy? Does that sound familiar to you?
Stone Free doesn't ring a bell. I don't think.
That's the song.
That's
So
Okay.
Stone Free isn't it Hendrix?
that's a Hendrix song. So when the writer was doing this, he took inspiration from Jimi Hendrix. He's done that for a couple of he's big into like American music. So he'll pull different songs and things from different artists, bands, like whoever.
Different errors and everything.
Like he'll go all the way current or like go all the way back to like the fucking 50s and 30s. Like it's everything in between. But so when he was writing this, he had taken inspiration from Jimi Hendrix's song Stone Free. Because if you listen to the song, Jimi Hendrix is talking about how people are talking down about him, like his music, how he acts, the clothes he wears, the music that he's putting out. They're like, you're not going to do anything, you're not going to go far. And people were saying the same thing about having, a woman as a main character, which doesn't happen very, often in like comics, anime, or even like, comic books in other cultures, which is why he, in the beginning, named it, he named Jolene Stan Stone Free. And she said the part of the lyric from Stone Free, I'm going to break free from this stone ocean, because she's going to break out, do her thing, and, be a standalone person as much as anybody else and not fall to the wayside and just, continue to live free. Which is why, there's more, well, Crispy, you've seen it, but there's more women in this one who are a big part of the show. There's a lot more, people and things you wouldn't expect to really be a big part of a project. Because there's a blind guy. There's another blind guy. We had one before. There's a blind guy. There's a person that's literally zooplankton.
It's true. Yeah, that's it. We got like basically we had a mute for a while. We had a bunch of people like a lot of mental issues. Like, we go through basically what you would see in a prison, like people's like personalities wise, like spread outwards. You see it in this, and this is like probably the most like diverse set of like different kind of people, different personalities that we've seen in the JoJo's like setup. I would say Stardust to Crusaders, we go from different countries route, but like in a one spot and just a grouping, this is probably it. But it's I don't know.
Yeah, that blew your mind, didn't it?
It did.
You never would have thought.
This is why you're the JoJo's expert, because you read, you're up to date on the current arc that we have. That's now you're on volume 9. You're on 9.
Go ahead,
Stone Free is the name of the spirit or whatever. The robot with the skull glasses. So where does the Stone Ocean come from? Where's that?
Stone Ocean came from the Jimi Hendrix lyric, and the song Stone Free. It's been a while since I've heard them, but I think he mentions like breaking free from the Stone Ocean. Stone Free.
Yeah. Well, at least I got the song right. I knew it was Hendrix. Matt did not.
I'm sorry. But including the names of the stands are different than actually inside the manga, also due to copyright issues. So they're like, it's very confusing. Like Jerry will talk to me about JoJo's, and he will mention the names in the manga.
Oh, it's only an American licensing thing.
Yeah. So like that's like the fucked up thing. It's like Jerry would start mentioning this stuff to me, and I'm like, what stand is that one again? Oh god, like what was it back in part 5 in Golden Winds? We're talking about Aerosmith, and it's called was it Little Bomber?
Yeah, but this is because I watch it and I read it, and I gotta say, out of all the parts of the story, I fell in love with 6 really hard because it was so different outside of the normal. You have a young woman. She's been falsely accused of a hit and run. She's in prison. She's having to deal with prison life. She has to deal with stuff that's happened because of her estranged father, that she thought was, an absentee dad and didn't want anything to do with her, when really he was still dealing with some stuff from a person in his past that was trying to come back in the present day. Like, it's just this whole myriad of mysteries that just slowly get peeled back as each layer gets deeper.
even the ending of this
You know
season,
I'm talking
like
about it.
that arc, is a mind fuck. It's a mind fuck. It's just why.
I
It
told you
just
the death you
I'm
thought was going to be the saddest was not it.
no, it's just bullshit. It's just
I
bullshit.
told you. You didn't believe me.
It's basically okay, so let's attach this to like DC. This is like basically DC's Flashpoint in somewhat in a way. Like
Yes.
Mm.
like the way they do the ending is how the like Flashpoint does its thing to get itself into its new series that they're doing. Because after this, the manga creator he reboots the series and takes on to a different part, like different like era like wave of like different like characters. There's the same characters with different eras and different places. It's weird.
He writes them more
It's-
modernized now. They're in the current
yeah.
day.
I click on that episode on IMDb of Stone Ocean, and the first two images are her naked in those suggestive poses. Like what I was talking about with all fours and her basically backing it up. I'm like, okay.
Okay.
Of course, those are the first two images that show up. That's the sex appeal. That's what's butts in the seats, I guess. I just wanted to address that. I just,
Sex appeal has always been in JoJo since day one. that's the funny thing.
yeah,
Didn't matter if the main character was a male or a female. There was always the sex appeal.
Or a dog.
yeah.
We're not bringing Iggy into this. We're not bringing Iggy into this, man.
But it
Oh,
I'm pleasantly
No.
surprised that you enjoyed this, Josh, because this is like way down the line into the story.
Yeah.
Because it was
Well,
like Matt said, this
felt,
is
it
the
felt
last
like the
part.
beginning.
So it is technically a beginning to a new story, but as far as the overall arcing story, this is like when did this come out? 10 years ago? No, it's been longer than that. Because JoJo was going on 10, part 8 was going on 10 years ago.
I'm gonna use
What do you
these
mean, like
pictures
this?
for the
Wait, you're
thumbnail
talking about that?
on YouTube.
Please don't.
Don't you dare. What are you talking about? Like the startup of this new series? Like like the first arc you're talking about? Or you're talking
No, I'm
about
talking
manga?
about manga for
Because the manga is old as hell because they started Stardust Crusaders in the 90s as a pickup like the startup of our anime, and then they stopped it after that for one season because I don't know, I haven't watched it. I need to watch it still. I need to find a way to watch it.
Oh, you talking about the OVAs for Stardust Crusaders?
Yeah, the 1990 whatever the hell it is series. Like,
Oh yeah, that's because David
episodes.
Production didn't exist at the time. And
Yeah,
honestly,
so
for everything that JoJo does, you need a studio that knows how to really capture something like that.
we just need to get them to make that fight scenes
Wait, you want
faster
this to be
now.
live action?
No.
I
That'd be
mean, there is
awesome.
a live action movie in Japan, and it looks pretty all right. I've seen clips from it here and there. It doesn't look horrible, but it's like, no, I like this as it is. I don't need to see real.
Yeah,
people.
they did
Yeah.
it for the Josuke. They did it for Josuke. That was probably like it's actually like the best rated live action, one of the best rated live action anime movies out there actually. Oh god. I forgot that's a thing. I forgot
So,
that
Christy,
Archive live action movie.
what
What?
did you think about Jolene's interaction on the prison bus and how she's learning the rules of cash is king, even behind bars?
God.
With the
No,
boob.
I'm not gonna lie. The whole
They insert
wait,
the money in
her
the boob.
like yeah. No, like her picking up the prison like how the prison is ran is kind of like it's kind of neat watching it happen because she's not used to this kind of lifestyle and like she kind of picks up it pretty fast but gentle at the same time. It's like once she thinks she's got something going, she trips over something new into it. So like it's just like you just keep seeing her learn a new thing and new thing happens. But once the show gets further on, it gets more bizarre. As the prison rules and all those things that kind of work fall out of line because you can just do whatever the fuck you want. So like shit. Basically God, what's the girl with the sticky I forget her name all the time for some
Sticky
reason.
Fingers was
With
in
the
part 6, part 5.
no, not a
Christian.
sticky. It's a sticky note. The sticky note. That she peels off
Sticker.
and
Sticky
she
bandit.
sticks it.
Hermes. Her stand name is
Yes.
Kiss.
Kiss. Thank you. Like she can just basically duplicate duplicate shit and like basically just do all kinds of shit and then ripped off the bandage and it all comes back together and she can have it back in her hand again. It's weird. It's a weird setup. She can do all kinds of weird shit with her ability. That's neat. I think you get that in like episode. She gets in like episode 2 or 3, right? 4. So Josh, you said you watched up the
Because
episode
the
4.
beginning is Joylene
Yeah.
getting stone free and learning how to control it and use it.
Yeah, I saw something. The last episode I
Okay.
remember was her like dressing up as a rat or some shit, and her
Oh yeah, with Google
Oh,
Dolls.
she gets shrank.
yeah, her
Yep,
prison
she
mate
gets shrunken
got
down.
the
Yep.
power, and she could shrink people, and then like, her prison mate was like fucking weirdo who wanted her to talk all peachy and shit, and it was really weird.
Yeah, her prison,
then,
her cellmate was
Yeah,
she didn't
Yeah,
have
she's
all the
fine.
screws tight if you know what I
I
mean.
mean, I to be honest, I think all these characters are pretty fucking whack, but she was like more whack. And then I don't even remember.
All JoJo characters are wax.
No, I don't remember the other episodes. I watched more, but I remember there was something about her trying to get money from other cellmates. Like she like lended $1 to someone, and then she basically gave them laxatives for them to pay her to use the bathroom to get their money back.
Hustling.
Yeah. And then that's all I remember. I think that's as far as I got.
You guys ready to about wrap this up and talk about the main topic?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm with that. I was actually gonna bring that up. Thank you, Jerry. So, Josh, where do you rate this?
I don't know. It wasn't terrible. I actually watched more episodes, so I guess I'll give it a 7 out of 10.
Okay, that's.
I thought you might go down the middle, give it a
you
5 or a 6.
No, well, I give it a
I
7
thought you
just
were like,
because
I'm
I was
okay, I'll watch it
intrigued.
again.
I was intrigued what was going on. Like the silly string power was interesting. I was curious. There's enough breadcrumbs for me to watch more. Like if it was like a 5 or even a 6, I probably only would watch more. I would have just stopped. So
That's what I was assuming. Actually, that's how I was assuming you were gonna go with this. I was like, oh, he's not gonna watch more than one episode. He's just gonna not. I'm not
Usually
gonna
I
hear nothing
don't.
of this at all.
Yeah, no, usually I don't, especially when you throw me in the middle of a season fucking 12, episode 19. I'm not gonna watch more when I don't know what the fuck's going on. So
That's when you do you just all right, let me see what the hell's happening. Let's go back.
no,
a bit.
no fucking way. No way I'm going backwards to understand what I just watched. No, I'm gonna start from the beginning and then make my way to that fucking episode. I'm not gonna start in the middle.
All right, Josh. Next time,
season 17.
Next time I'm going to. Next time I do a show, I'm going to give you an episode and tell you to watch it from the beginning.
No, and that's not how it goes.
I'm fucking.
That's not the assignment.
All right, Sherry, where do you rate this?
Clearly, JoJo is a 10 out of 10. It's a really unique way of having a story be told, especially a continuing story, because no two parts are the same and no two family members are the same. You do see, tendencies, habits, and old traits of family members in some of the newer generations, but even still within that, they are so unique on their own that you can be like, oh, she has this same quality as insert, but that's as far as you go with it.
I'm
Definitely,
not gonna lie, Joe.
I like how in part 6 we start with a female JoJo, which is, as the story goes on, things get so much more interesting. But Jolene, she's out of all the 9 JoJos so far, she's definitely like one of my top favorites because she's not only a badass, but she knows how to hold her own in fights against enemies who are much like physically stronger or battle prowess stronger. And I love that there's still a lot of Jimi Hendrix references in this and other bands that I like. So
Is there
that's
more
what bumps
Jimi
it up to a
Hendrix
10.
references, or is it just Stone Fruit?
I think there's more. I haven't read this. I haven't read this in a while, so I'm watching it slowly but surely, like 5 minutes a day. But I think there is like
Oh
more like
god.
Jimi Hendrix references as far as music. They do some AC/DC, Limp Bizkit.
Mm-hmm.
Who else do they do?
Mateo's and the Crusades.
The Beatles.
No.
What?
Like I said, they did Kiss. They even do Foo Fighters, which is cool.
They actually did.
Who
I
else?
think they had one.
Queen?
Yeah, like
It's
it's
been a while
like the
since I watched the
amount of
beginning.
music that is
They do have
referenced in this
Queen stuff,
show,
yes.
you could fill up a page with.
Killer Queen. They had a Queen reference. This Killer Queen that's in part
We're
4
talking about part
though.
6.
Yeah, no. But he mentioned Queen, so the only thing that popped in
They
my head
even
was
do
part
some
4.
Pink Floyd.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Matt, what's your rating?
I'm gonna be with Jerry on this one. I don't read it, but I've watched it. I've been told the way I was told to watch this show was so awkward and weird, and I'm
Wait, what?
not gonna lie. You were showing the image, weren't
No.
you? Yes. So the way I was told to watch this,
Go ahead.
you're a horrible man, Mister. You're a horrible man.
I can't show too much. I get banned from YouTube.
No. Yes. No, the way I give it a 10 because I watched the whole thing. I even watched the side story, like all the arcs and the
There's
little
another
side
side
story
story
they
too.
have. There's another side story.
There's another one, but they're not going to animate that.
Okay. I only seen the other side story that got the only side story that got animated on Netflix. And the way I was told to watch this, Josh. Oh my god.
That's what you're missing out on, folks. Wait, go ahead, Matt. I'm done now.
Sure you are. You got one more.
No,
In the
I think those are only two. That's what I'm saying. Those are the first 2 images that show up when I type in this episode. So it's on IMDb.
Because people are weird.
This is what shows
But
up.
like, yeah, the way people like the way I was told by Jerry and our friend Billy that told me to watch this. It's like if you're gonna love it or you're gonna hate it. And once you watch the season 1, it's a slow burn, but it gets interesting. But for me, it got more interesting once it got to the halfway because if you watch, they combine part 1 and 2's arcs together for some reason, and once it hit the other arc in that setup, it got more interesting for me because of like the time period and what was going on and later in the arc was actually pretty fucking crazy
Is it because they
and
were
stuff.
Italians?
No, that wasn't actually it, but thank you for mentioning that. But no, I was like talking about how we're in the middle of World War II, just fucking around with these freaking Aztec freaking warrior people, basically. Well, they're Egyptians, aren't they?
It's not really said, but it's like heavily kind of implied that they're Aztecs.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird setup, but because the whatever this vampire stuff they do and like the earlier stuff reaches between Aztec to Egypt and everywhere. Everywhere has this shit. But whatever. But yeah, I just got like told just bear with it. So I was just trying to give you something that you would maybe enjoy because it was kind of like an Indiana Jones feel, but we went with this. Because of a
watched the
little
wrong
mix
one.
up, we went with this.
All
Yes,
right.
but that's
Watch the
basically my.
right
But
one, a
I
different
the and
episode.
yeah, but to me, I do like the animation in part 6 because the animation is really done well. I probably enjoyed this animation than most of the animation that was throughout the seasons. Like it's just like kind of to me, I don't know. It took me a bit to adjust to it, but this is probably my favorite animation they did drop. But Jerry, I want to ask you, Jolene,
Mm-hmm.
which other JoJo did her like? What kind of like which JoJo's did she like take after the most? To me, I think she just take after her father.
She does take after Jotaro with the ruthlessness that she has.
Hmm.
But as far as battle IQ, she definitely gets that from Joseph. Because
Okay.
if you think back on a lot of her fights and how ingenuitive she was, especially at the end
Hmm.
when she fought the priest, I'm not going to say his name because I'm pretty sure somebody's going to watch this. Think back to when he got his upgrade and he tried to punch her in the gut.
Okay.
Remember that little thing she made? The
Uh
only
huh.
other person who would have done that was Joseph. Not saying
Yeah,
Jotaro isn't
Joseph is
smart,
he's
but
a
there's different levels to the intellect.
no. No, he has no, he gets his he is mostly brutal. He usually goes with force and anything else, but he does come with like quick on the fly stuff. But Joseph, from what I remember of like been his part, like he was mostly always a step somehow ahead of like the enemies that he was fighting. Even if he was a step behind, he figured out a way to get up past them in a way. But his best move is just run away. But anyway, we're gonna be done with talking about JoJo's for now. We may bring it back for another episode,
Watch the
maybe.
right episode.
But let's go into the main thing. Let's talk about Fury. Jerry, would you like to take it away, please?
Absolutely, you fucking bastard. So Fury is a
What the
tale of a unit who is in the heart of Germany fighting the Jerrys because Jerry is a slur for Germans, Crispy.
I'm sorry. I
I didn't
forget
know
that's
that.
a slur for Germans. I forget. And Jimmy reminds us at least once a month, at least. I like to tune it out. I'm not gonna lie, is I just don't give a fuck
That's the part
anymore.
I
Like,
always like to mess with him about because I'm like, I'm watching the movie. I'm like, I feel weird. I don't know if I've got some German in me somewhere, but I'm like, I feel a certain kind of way watching this movie.
I'm sorry. I am sorry,
But
but
it's
like I forget that's a term for Nazis. I'm sorry.
this is a movie about a tank unit led by Brad Pitt with supporting cast of Shia LaBeouf, um, the guy from Ant-Man. I can't think of his name. Really solid actor. I like a lot of stuff he's
Michael
in.
Pena.
Yeah, something like that. The guy who played the Punisher, and I think the kid who was in Percy Jackson. I'm not
I
I
never
sure.
can't
watched
recall.
that.
To me, this is like the first
John
time I met this kid,
Bur-
the new kid.
I think he was in
Logan
Percy Jackson, but I'm not sure.
Lerman.
But anyway, they are, there's been all stationed in Germany. They're fighting the Nazis. They're trying to, help in the World War. And, along the way, they lose a member because he was shot in the head. And, unfortunately killed, and so they've been drafted with a new member, and all of them give him a really hard time and are just essentially like, "What are you doing here? You're still wet behind the ears. You don't belong in a place like this." And in several like various moments, you see his humanity, shine through, but you also see him struggle to keep his humanity, especially in the terms of the fact that this is a war. So the malice of what a man can do to another man is at its absolute peak. And just seeing and dealing with all of this is taking such a severe toll on, I think the guy's name was Machine or something. I don't know. That was his nickname. Everybody had a nickname. But there was
Gave it to him how to get that.
There was an instance where they go to a town and they went, killed some Nazis, and liberated the city to try to free the people. And then Brad Pitt and Machine, I'm just calling him Norman because I think that was his name. Brad Pitt and Norman.
Let's go with Norman.
Yeah,
That's his name.
They saw this woman looking through the blinds of her home, and they go in, and Brad Pitt's asking, are there any Nazis in here? Who's in here with you? Why'd you lie? And so, Brad Pitt took Norman with him because he knew, all right, this kid still hasn't been, ruined by what we've done. He might have killed a few people, but he hasn't committed any war crimes. And so, there's a young woman who is living with the older lady. They share an intimate moment. Brad Pitt pays the woman for, cooking them some eggs and giving him a bowl of warm water so that he might shave with it's 2 packs of cigarettes. And then, they are hit by the Nazi bombers, and, it's friendly fire. So the woman that Norman shared the intimate moment with, she is dead, and he is emotionally distraught. And Frank Castle is telling him, what do you think this is, boy, huh? And he's just, you can tell he's trying to rile him up to really break it to him. This is not a happy-go-lucky place. This isn't a fairy tale. This is essentially hell on earth. And then as it continues on, they go to what do they call it? It's some kind of outpost. That little station.
They went to like a medic outpost. There's a little station, there's a medic outpost. Like you can see where like they got medic, like they're doing like surgery on people. You see them tossing like pans of blood everywhere. There's all kinds of shit. It's just not a good sight. It's just them trying to save people.
On the way to this outpost, they lose how many? 4 tanks?
It's a unit
of 5, right?
What was it? It was 5. It was a unit of 5. Then you lose 1, and then Brad Pitt becomes the leader of the unit, and then slowly you lose the other 2.
Mm-hmm.
That's with the other 3 that's with him.
Yeah, so slowly, the Germans have been killing off their comrades. So this is all just keeps adding on and adding on and adding on to the, to the turmoil and stress on everyone. And then you can, as the story continues to unfold, you see each person has their niche that helps keep them, still human. Because they have Michael Pena, he speaks Spanish, and then so I don't know how the Spanish do their worship. I know they're like Christian and Catholic, and I see he has a rosary, so he has that next to him. He's still very religious and prays. And then you have Shia LaBeouf, who is every chance he gets, he prays, he brings salvation into everything. And then I don't know why the guy's name is Coon Ass. I think it's because he was hunting raccoons and living in Georgia. But you can see like his thing is, he likes to hit the booze really hard, and he likes to have sex with whores and prostitutes.
I thought that was the reason why for his name was because he has sex with a lot of ass.
But
oh god.
But as the married men, the unit, the Fury unit, make their way to this resource outpost, they encounter a landmine that blows up the tread on their tank, so they're effectively stuck. And so Brad Pitt sends Norman to go scout ahead, and Norman sees a large platoon of Nazis coming their way. So everyone realizes that this is their last stand, and they're going to make it the best that they can. And they do hold their own for quite longer than I was ready to give it credit for. And then, slowly but surely, each member is killed off, and until there's only Norman left. And then he's excuse me, he's talking to Brad Pitt like, Sergeant, I want to give up. I can't do this. You see him breaking down, but Brad Pitt is essentially telling him what to do. He's like, you know where the hatch is? He's like, yeah, I know where the hatch is. Open that hatch and you survive. You survive and you live to see another day, which he does do. He opens the hatch, he drops into the dirt and mud and slowly covers himself to kind of, get a little bit of a camouflage. And then the Nazis, obviously they go in the tank. They make sure everyone's dead. They drop grenades. They take their war prizes from the American troops. And then as, they're all still surrounding the tank after the battle is done, you see one lone Nazi soldier, kind of look under the tank to see like, oh, is there anybody else here? And he sees Norman. And at that point, Norman's like, well, my number's up. I'm dead. But the Nazi soldier, also like Norman, still has his humanity within him and decides not to say anything at all, and essentially gives Norman, one more free day to live. And then Norman is picked up by the Allied forces, and then they tell him, hey man, you did good. You're all right. You're a hero. But I'm quite sure on the inside, Norman's like, I'm not a hero. I'm nothing. The guys who I was with that died in that tank, they're the real heroes, not me. And then that was Fury.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a feeling Norm went back into like war after that. Like he didn't get a happy ending technically. He just gets put in because they don't say that after that the war was over. Like like they didn't do that joke. It's just like and he's like getting basically pushed back in like into another unit.
Yeah, it was. I've seen the first hour of this movie, so I was like, Fury, I've watched the first hour. So everything else, literally the minute marker after the hour was just fresh ground. And I'm like, man, I forgot how much I actually like, Brad Pitt as an actor and Fury. And this
I think Brad Pitt's probably the highlight of the movie.
Brad Pitt's he's a good actor.
And I like how he's all scarred up too.
I like how
Brad Pitt, like they like scars all over his face, and especially like when they show his back when it's revealed they're in that German town and Norman meets that girl Emma, and then they have their relations, and that is interrupted by the rest of the unit. The unit's basically jealous that he got action with this nice girl while they got the whore on the street. Basically, and like it seems like their war daddy Brad Pitt's character was playing favoritism to Norman's character at that point to the rest of the unit. And it's that I think that scene was probably my favorite scene out of the whole movie. Like that was the most captivating because you got to show each character's baseline, kind of like where they were coming from and like how they were, within this unit for months on end, and they basically had to slaughter all these horses, and like it was like the most awkward dinner. Well, I guess it was breakfast. They're eating eggs. It was just the most awkward meal scene that I have seen in a while, and it's just like a lot of tension. It's just like Norman just gets his release and he's really connecting with this girl, and then it's just all this tension comes up right when the whole unit gets there, and they're like basically ragging on how they're playing house while this war is going on, and it seems like Norman's like really connecting with this girl, and then maybe 15 minutes after, a plane bombs the town, and then she's dead. Yeah, Emma's dead. Which like he shows the implications of everything, and
Yeah,
it seems like if his unit didn't pull him away, he would have like at least like sent her his address or something. Like, I don't know. They would have tried to stay connected and stay in touch. Well, like especially in like World War II era in the 1940s, without like a war, that would have been hard to do. With the war on top of it,
Hmm.
it would have been like nearly impossible, even if she did live to reconnect with that person. And then she died
Like,
immediately after.
if both of them would have survived, there's no telling how. Well, I don't know if Norman
hmm
survived. He most likely didn't, but there's no telling how fucked up he would have been if he survived and she survived. It would have been, extreme PTSD, disfiguring, and God knows, the mental
I
scars
would.
for having a as a 18-year-old, and you have to kill this man or he's gonna kill you, and you have to live with that, until your last breath.
I would say he'll live like Brad Pitt's character because Brad Pitt's character had PSD. He had everything. He was just going through mental state and
Yeah,
stuff. Like you see
I
him
like
walk
how it
Yeah.
showed
away,
his
and
weakness.
he would
Yeah.
just. He had a weakness. He did not. He was not the like the had. He wasn't like the old like courage all the time. He
Yeah.
always had like a moment where he
Yeah. That
broke
moment
down.
where he
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 had
broke
like
had his
down
he
was
moments
showed
of
his
really
weakness
humanity.
where it needed to be shown.
hmm
yeah. I liked how he just walked away and he
hmm
just broke down and he didn't
And
show his unit that he was scared because, they're the ones that are falling. Like, he didn't show any kind of weakness. And it's nice that the audience
you
was
do
able to witness that.
you do see it at the point where they make it to the freaking the cross point in the road where they blew the track gets blown up, and he's trying to figure out what he needs to do with his unit. And he wants them to live, so he's trying to push them away. So it's just they don't lose their lives. It's just he'd rather have him die.
Hmm.
And you see that he will put himself for in first of everybody, but him making the choices in his head is still like kind of you can still see it, like him putting the puzzle together. And it's kind of fucked, and everybody saying "fuck it," we're not letting you die by yourself, and they join him. You can see like we may do this, we may survive, but Norman said they had a platoon of 300 fucking men coming their way. Luckily, they didn't have a fucking unit of tanks with them. It was just only vehicles and soldiers. I would say they would actually make it I would say at least two out of the five, maybe three if the sniper did not come in play.
But yeah,
If that sniper did not come in play, I would say they would have a little bit more better odds. But once the sniper came out, we got more damage happening than we should have.
and then they were
Freaking
for me, the final stand really just showcased, everybody at their highest and their lowest. Because the first
hmm
person who died, was I can't think of the actor's name. He was the first to go. And then you could
the
see
Punisher.
between him and Shia LaBeouf, their characters always had, just a feud, but they knew that, okay, this guy's my lifeline. And if I mess up, it's not just his life it's not his ass that's gonna be on the line, it's mine too. Because he'd always tell him, load me up in armor piercing, and then he'd wait to grab the next shell, load it up, and then Shia LaBeouf's character always did have that. He had that nervous tick about his leg shaking, and then when he fired, he would always yell on the way and then step on the trigger, to release it. And even between Gordo, I just remembered Michael Pena's character's nickname. Like even between him, he was the driver. If he made
hmm
one false move at any point, all of them would have went up in smoke, and there would have been nothing left.
I'm not gonna lie, he was my set. Like I didn't want
I
him to
wanted him to
die.
live.
I'm not gonna lie. I want him to live so hard. Like it was like I was like, oh god, when that grenade, he got hit, and he dropped the grenade, and you saw. I was like hoping Norm would try to throw it out the grenade out of the tank somehow, and like blow up like some Nazis or something. But he just grabs it, lays on it, and blows up with the freaking grenade. And I'm just like, you were my
It's like watching
favorite.
Dom dying Gears 3 all over again.
Oh God, don't bring that up.
I like how in the beginning, like when Norman comes in, like you're with Norman, like we're like fresh to the
Mm-hmm.
implications of war as well. So like we're basically following this character, and like these characters have been through this once, like I was saying before. I like how he has to clean up the tank where he has to be stationed, and it's
Yeah.
like the previous guy who was there before him. His face is literally blown off and like still there, like stuck to the
Mhm.
side
There's
of the
still
tank.
chunks of them.
Like his face is literally there.
I don't know what I would do in that situation. I don't know what I would do if I had to pick up a man's face off the fucking bottom of the tank. I would just be, I don't know. I'll be
So
shocked. I would not know what to do with myself.
I looked up. I was while you guys were talking, I was looking up if Fury was based on any real events. I guess. Well, this is what I found on Wikipedia. I'm just going to read out loud. While the storyline is fictional, the depiction of Fury in the Commander War Daddy parallels the experience of real Allied tankers such as American tanker commander Staff Sergeant Lafayette G. Poole, which his nickname was War Daddy, who landed just after D-Day and destroyed
Okay.
258 enemy vehicles before his tank was knocked out in Germany in late 1944. And then it's just showing that there's other tank experiences that like kind of fall close to the plot of Fury.
Did he? Did he
Yeah, he survived.
survive,
He
or did
survived
he
until the
lose
90s. I
his
just
tank?
looked it up. I guess he survived until
Okay.
1991. He was the
Damn.
Lafayette Green Pool 1919 to 1991 was American tank crew, tank platoon commander of World War II, and is widely recognized as U.S. tank ace of aces, credited with 12 confirmed tank kills and 258 total armored vehicle and self-propelled gun kills, over 1,000 German soldiers killed, and 250 more as prisoners of war, accomplished in only 81 days of action during June 27th to September 19th, 1944, using different Shermans. I'm not exactly sure what Shermans are. He received medals. Oh, okay.
Their names tanks.
He received medals including Distinguished Service Cross, the Legion Merit, and Silver Star, and the Purple Heart, and the Belgian Forage, and the French Legion Honor. So I guess he got like a shit ton of medals. There's another part I wanted to read. There is the plot also has similarities to the Battle of. I'm probably going to say this wrong. Kreilschem, fought in Germany in 1945. The last stand of the crew was disabled. Fury appears to be based on an antidote from Death Traps, wherein Lone Takers was in his tank on the Fury Junction when German infantry unit approaches, apparently not spotting the tank in darkness. The unnamed tanker is said to ricochet shells from enemy forces, fire all the machine gun ammunition, and thrown grenades to kill German soldiers climbing into the tank. Cooper concluded when our infantry arrived the next day, they found the brave young tanker still alive in his tank and entered the surrounding area was littered with German dead soldiers.
All right.
Okay.
That was
That's
the ending of
basically
the
how
movie.
the
I just
ending
wanted
went.
I just wanted to tell off
Yeah.
the real tale implications, and it just like makes it more
No,
heavy.
no, that's better
like
than.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
That there's definitely some parallels, and like I was gonna say, it's I don't know, it's kind of unrealistic that one guy survived at the end of the movie, but like it happened.
Yeah.
This guy did it.
And I mean, it reminds me of me and Crispy talked about it before. It's called, the world's greatest beer run, which I think is another really good parallel to this movie. Because as I finished up, I was thinking to myself, man, a lot of this hits the same notes as the world's greatest beer run. Because you have the young guy doesn't know anything about war, and then he has to sit here and just watch all these different things happen. He's not in the case of World's Greatest Beer Run, he wasn't directly involved in any fighting, but with Fury, Norman was right there. He was drafted. He had to fight, or he would have to. I believe if you didn't go to the draft, they threw you in jail. I'm sorry if I'm remembering that wrong, but he had to. He had to go fight in the war. He had to do what he needed to for his country and to, essentially help stop the Nazi threat against the world. And there's so much that, I've said it before, war movies aren't my thing because it's hard to watch sometimes because of this did happen and we don't talk about the depth of which it happened. We see it with the veterans who are still living from that time. But it's always just, I'll more so like it like this too. Excuse me once more. You see a young man trying to find that one silver lining to just keep him, afloat and just keep him above all the muck and the grime that war puts people in. Like how we saw everyone say like, hey, all the rest of us are fucked up, Normie, but you're still a good kid. Don't change no matter what. No matter how much shit people give you, no matter how hard things get, no matter how many enemy soldiers you have to kill, continue to be a good, wholesome person. And as we all know during war, sometimes you run into enemy soldiers who are like, I don't want to be a part of this anymore as you do. So if I didn't see you, you didn't see me. Because, if it got out that, you saw an enemy soldier and you didn't do anything to, kill them, they would kill you on the spot and make an example out of you in front of every other newcomer, every other person who's been there fighting for months, years, weeks, days, hours, minutes. And it just, go ahead. I was just going to wrap up by saying it was just, finally being able to watch this. Because I did start this movie, I think when I first saw it on TV 2 years ago. Not 2 years ago, 2016. I was like, man, I really wonder how this movie has ended. I'm happy to know how it ended. But it's always just, now that I know in the back of my mind, I'm just like, man, at what cost does war change a man?
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. I guess, going back to real world implications, my grandfather enlisted into the war a day after Pearl Harbor. So December 7th was Pearl Harbor. So December 8th was the day he enlisted. He was 17, so he lied about his age. He was in the Battle of the Bulge, and I know he received the Purple Heart for having extreme coolness under fire. I don't know the whole story. I'm trying to look into it, and I think he was either in the 99th division or the 91st division, which I'm gonna have to look into. But still kind of gathering information. But that's all I really know.
Hey, I'm in the same boat. I know my grandfather, he was in the war. He passed when I was in the 4th grade. And he also, was suffering from, I believe it was dementia or Alzheimer's. So, I'm quite sure he didn't have any, memory or recollection from that time. But I always hear, my dad's family, they always have, his, pictures and stuff up. And I'm just like, man, I wish I could have, got the chance to, especially now that, I've joined with you guys and we've watched all these different stuff. I wish I could have just, sat down, talked with him and asked him, how things were and what his life was like.
Right. Yeah. 100%. Like, yeah, my grandfather passed in the '60s, so
Mm.
like, there's no way I'm gonna ask him. Like, I had a chance. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, he was later on, so I had no idea. He didn't like we didn't really talk about his military time. We just talked about more his firefighting times usually than military because I don't know what era he was in,
Did he always
but
go save the
I know
cats
my
from trees
dad's
as a firefighter?
no.
That's
He was doing other things than
Come on. He
that.
must have done it at least once.
No, God, I never asked him about the cat thing. I just know he was the chief of a fire department and he did his own little thing. But my dad's side of the family, they were over in Italy still at that time. So they never brought up what they had to go through during that time period when they're growing up. I just know they said at that time period they did hate the leader of the time period, Mussolini.
Mussolini. Yeah.
He was not yeah, they're
Everyone
not
hated Mussolini.
yeah, no one liked him. That's the only thing I got from that. They're not a big fan of that. And they never talked about any other things that went on. So and now my on that side of the family with my two grandparents that were on my dad's side, they both passed, so I can't really talk to them about it. So
Yeah.
I do have other family members over there that I kind of want to ask them at some point
I heard
how it was.
Mussolini was planning on pulling out of the war, and then he went to like have a meeting with Hitler, and Hitler was on a coke binge and just kept ranting at him, and he couldn't get one word in, and then he was still in the war. At the end of that meeting, it was like hours, like 3 hours of just fucking Hitler
Oh
ranting
God.
at him,
Jesus.
which is just crazy. You can see there's footage of like Hitler at the Olympics, I think, and he's like tweaking out, like he's on something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I have seen that.
Yeah,
I've seen that.
I think I
yeah,
saw that
he's
in
on
the
coke.
World War II museums, I believe. If I
Yeah,
didn't see that in a museum, I think I might have seen it on like a YouTube documentary or something.
I know he definitely did coke. I
I
think he did
think
heroin
I
too.
saw it on Instagram.
He probably did
I think I
heroin.
saw that video on Instagram because they went around just like dropping some like World War II clips here and there on Instagram at one point. So
It's just crazy, like to really think like this war wasn't that long. It was like what 2 generations ago
no.
Yeah,
for us.
2 generations.
Um,
Hmm.
and it
Because the
literally affected the whole world. It literally did. Like everyone has family member who was in this war. Everyone has family members that was affected by this war. And it's really interesting to really kind of look back and see, even our like the stories that we just told. Like they're unique. They're unique to us, but at the same time, they aren't because everyone has.
everybody has a commonplace story like that. World War II, Vietnam. Uh, I know my father. He joined the military right out of high school. He was like, "All right, I'm finna go enlist," and he was in a war. I asked him once before. I think he said the war he was in was Grenada. I've never looked it up. I've been meaning to do it for years now, but life and other things always get in the way. But it's like a common thing, no matter who you are, where you are. War is always, you have ties to a war in one way or another. Because if you weren't in the military, you were either working at a factory, help producing textiles to go over there for them.
Hmm.
You were a doctor. You were you know the the ferryman who took them across the world, or God forbid, you were the man digging the graves to put everybody in.
Oh, Matt, what was your favorite scene in Fury?
Oh God.
Did I say my
Um.
favorite scene? I think that's it.
My favorite, I don't know, like my favorite scene. I don't like my favorite scene is definitely like at the end where you get to see
Yeah.
them work to like
Yeah.
see them all work together and trying to get through it all. But I did like one scene that's like right before the end is when the Punisher actor takes Norman into the building when they're supposed to look around in the factory to see if there anybody's inside and like any supplies is there. And he just takes him aside and he just tells him flat out, he's like, I'm sorry I'm an asshole to you, but that's just my nature and how I am. And deep down, I don't hate you. I like you. You're a good person,
Yeah,
and
that
all
was
this
a
other
good
shit.
moment.
And he's like, I enjoyed
Yeah.
that scene. I like that he knew what was gonna happen at the end. He knew that there was gonna be losses, and if didn't make it, and he did, he didn't want Norman thinking he hated him.
He wanted to
It's
clear.
just
I
how it
did
is.
really.
Yeah, he just wanted to clear
I
it.
loved how he cleared the air like that with him. Because it was, I thought
Yeah,
they
I
would have,
enjoyed it.
like some infighting between them. But I'm glad that there wasn't, because I feel like it would have taken away from, the movie that they were building up. Like, you've got this young kid, never been in a war, but you've got this old guy who's been in this unit since they were on the beach in Africa. And
Yep.
it was, you could, and even when he was uh I didn't really care for the scene when they all busted in. Like, it was important, but I'm like, I understood it, but I'm like, I don't, god, it was one of those things. I like it, but I don't at the same time.
Yeah, no, I definitely wanted
Mm.
Norman to have his day, but, like, yeah, it was definitely really,
Yeah, but it was like,
but
even through all the hazing that he went through, Norman was like, he didn't sell out his comrades. He didn't,
Mhm.
turn tail and run. He saw everything through with them until the very bitter end.
Yep.
And I definitely, like Crispy said, that scene where the Punisher, the actor for the Punisher, cleared the air with Norman. It really just, it hit me on a different level, because, like Crispy said, I think in his mind when he got there, you know how you get that weird sixth sense, like, you know what, I think this might be it. And before it
Mhm.
gets to that point, I want to make amends now, kind of deal, because first it was him, then it was Gordo, and then it was
Mhm. Daniel
then it was
Shiloh.
Shia LaBeouf, and then Brad Pitt was essentially holding his hand and guiding him the whole time, like he was being a human shield, just trying to take and block out as much of the negativity that he could. And it was just something that I think Norman needed the most, because through every interaction, you could see he was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to be this person that you envision me to be. And having that close knit tightness with all of with his squad mates, especially like Crispy said, after they started clearing the air before the last stand, I think that really just hit me so deeply, because I'm like, you know what? There's no telling how many times on the battlefield that actually happened. People died with,
Mhm.
last words they never got to say. There was, hey, I'm sorry, I pissed in your canteen, when you weren't looking, kind of deals, or, sorry, I was smoking a stogie knowing you have the asthma, or whatever. But that was also a favorite scene. I know that was a weird tangent, but that was a favorite scene of mine.
Just cool. um, yeah, I kind of want to bring up like some behind the scenes stuff with like Shia LaBeouf's character. Well,
Was he
Shia
an
LaBeouf in
ass?
general. Supposedly, he went balls deep with his character. He said, like, the Punisher actor is like he was the only person that he was like amping with the levels because they like we saw in the movie they're the two interacting with each other. So he like Shiloh brought an energy to his character that the Punisher liked, so he worked with that energy. And supposedly Shiloh would like like take like he removed a tooth for his character because he assumed his
What?
character
Yeah,
would
I
need
was
a tooth
wondering about
removed.
that.
And then I don't know. Then he supposedly he did that, and the Punisher guy's like he confirmed. He's like he took a tooth out. He literally took a tooth out. He got pliers, ripped it out right
He did
before
it
he started
himself?
shooting. And then there's a part where he did himself.
What tooth
And
is
then
missing?
supposedly there's a cut
It's
that's
one of
on
the
his
ones on
cheek.
the bottom. I think it's
I
like
don't recall which.
the second
Yeah,
one
I
before
believe
the
it's the one on the
canine.
bottom.
Huh.
At least a canine or something.
I think it was hard
Oh,
to
really?
see because some of
I
the shots were kind of dark.
Yeah, and then he has a
Yeah.
scar on his like he has a scratch on his cheek. He ended up cutting himself so he ended up cutting himself for like real life, so it looked like a real like instead of
You know
prosthetic
there's things
cut.
called makeup?
Special
I
effects
know.
is the thing,
Yeah,
dude, and
what
they
the
pay for
prosthetic
fuck?
it.
cut. So
Yeah, really.
so that's like the Punisher guy's like he brought like energy to this like movie even more that he's like I fed off of because he's like I wasn't doing those things, but I was like this shit's getting real with this guy because he's trying to become this character hard body then just act it. He's trying to be the person in the movie, just living it.
I heard the actor who had the role of like the station where Norman was before, like actually shot himself in the face for the role. So like his face,
Oh,
that's his real face.
Ooh.
oh, okay, that's good.
No, no, that's weird. Um, yeah, Jerry. So
I
I
was like
want,
shooting yourself in the face.
yeah, no, he actually killed himself for the role. That's how
Oh
committed he
God,
was. um,
I
Jerry,
hate
I
you.
wanted to ask you. I know you keep calling Shia LaBeouf Shia LaBeouf. How what's your beef with Shia LaBeouf? Do you
I
hate
just think
him?
it's funny to say Shia LaBeouf. That's it. I think he's a pretty all right actor. I don't hate him. He was
I
he's
actually,
been in some stuff that I liked, but I always
yeah,
mess up
I do
Shia
like him.
LaBeouf as saying I always called him Shia LaBeouf for a long time
Mm.
because I just couldn't
Didn't we
pronounce his
all?
last name. So I was like, I heard somebody call him Shia LaBeouf, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna just stick with that. I'm sure it's very weird
Mm.
because I'm praising him and I'm saying he's Shia LaBeouf, but I think he's a good actor. I've never,
I think
for a
he's a good
long
actor.
time, been able to pronounce his last name. That's all it is.
Okay. All right. Just curious. Just curious. I just wanted to.
Okay, I got one more question before I get asked to you guys like
Mhm.
your final thoughts and stuff. Do you think Brad Pitt is this well-known actor, and he's been in two
What's the
Two
other
World
one?
War II movies now,
Oh,
Oh yeah, he wasn't in Glorious
Inglorious
Bastards.
Bastards,
Yeah, I
and
forgot
this.
about
I
that.
almost don't really count that as a World War II
Have you
movie because it's
guys?
just
Have you?
so like
It's so
bad
all
shit
over the place.
I
insane
know it's so
and like
bizarre.
not factual at
I
all.
know.
Yeah.
From seeing him in that movie to seeing him in this movie, did you see yeah, do you see like anything like you like different that he did in this movie? They did like that, like like how he portrayed his
I like
character
how
more in this
serious
movie than the other
his
movie.
character was this time around,
Yeah,
and
yeah, the
how
Glorious
Mm,
Bastards is
uh,
like more
it's
like
almost like he was a pauper.
tongue-in-cheek.
You know, like he was
what?
a court jester, like a pauper.
Okay.
Because it was like, yeah, he had some serious moments and some fun, some good stuff, but he was also kind of playing the like a comedian, like trying to be funny all the
Yeah, he was
time.
having fun with it, definitely. He was having
Yeah,
fun
which
playing
is
overseas.
which
Which was
there was
fine
nothing
for that
wrong with it.
movie because that
Yeah,
movie was over the top anyway. I think the movie was
It
basically
was.
made as if it was, like, propaganda made in that time period, you know? So, like, it was just like a play on, like, propaganda films, like, back in that era. So I think that's why it's kinda over the top. I think that's, like, part of what Tarantino was trying to pull off.
yeah.
Okay.
It for me, I like him. You know, in definitely more in Fury because he didn't just play the father figure that his platoon needed. He also played as the anchor because you hear all of them say, "I've survived this long because of him. If I was with anybody else, I would have been dead already." Or you just hear the infamous, "If you listen to him, you'll make it through any situation, no matter how bleak or grim your chances are."
I
Which
know.
is
And like the one thing
which is something I do like,
What?
especially in like a leader type role. I like somebody who can play, multiple facets instead of just like one piece.
Okay. And like the funny thing is like you say that and like how they say if you listen to the man, you make it through the situations and his team fought him or when he said you guys should run away and they decided to stand their ground with him and we saw the outcome of what happened and what Norman and actually listened to him at the end is like go through the hatch and live is actually another like him like actually listening to him actually gets him to save his life. So actually it's kind of weird. Actually, like it's true. If you listen to the man, you make it through things. It's kind of scary. It's kind of
Yeah, but I
scary.
think that was also his mark as a seasoned leader because he knew how to. He not only had good hindsight and foresight, but he also knew how to read events as they were unfolding as well, which is something
Mm.
they don't really do a lot in war movies from time to time. I'm not saying they don't always do it or never do it, but hitting the mark like Brad Pitt did with Fury is something I haven't seen a war movie do in a while.
I say I say like
Yeah,
Saving
like
Private Ryan is like probably the last time you've seen it for
yeah, I would say
me.
the same
Is
thing.
because they said they knew the army was coming to them. They got the bridge. They set the defenses. They make sure the army does like the Nazis didn't make it into the area. And basically, in that movie, Tom Hanks was their freaking Brad Pitt of their group because he was trying to do everything there. He was trying to hold it. He ends up dying at the end, trying to still fight
You're
at the end too.
spoiling Saving Private Ryan.
Shut up! Saving Private Ryan's so fucking old now to
You could
us.
say that about any
Spoiler!
movie.
It's a spoiler warning
I know.
officially.
Yeah, Matt ruined it.
We always spoiled
Yeah,
Fury.
you told. Well, that's the whole point of the podcast. So, like,
oh, look at that!
yeah,
Look at
but like we didn't announce
that!
that we're doing that movie. So like people who haven't seen that are now pissed. Now they know that
Oh my god!
Buzz kills
I'm
Woody at
sorry,
the end of
kids
the movie.
born after 2010 didn't see it.
Yeah, now they know that Buzz kills Woody at the end of Saving Private Ryan. Way to go.
Alan's not in the movie. I'd be fucked up if he was.
Yeah,
But
he's the one who shot him. He just didn't see him. It was Tim Allen.
oh my god. He was in the spacesuit and everything. Just
Alright.
So like okay, so what's your thoughts, like last thoughts and everything and ratings?
Who's
I'll
going
go
first?
first if that's all right.
Go
This
ahead.
is I
Go
always
ahead.
say it, and I still kind of stick by it. War movies and historical pieces, they're always going to be hard to watch, especially for me because it's not that I don't want to know the history, but seeing it and having to, have that piece in the back of your mind randomly come to you like, oh, I really, really remember being, like seriously messed up, watching this movie. And with Fury, I think not think I enjoyed how they told a different point of World War II. You see humanity in the Allied forces. You see one piece of humanity in a random soldier of the Axis power. You see, like you get to see, like it doesn't spare anything. You see how the Germans were killing their own people as much as they were trying to kill, the U.S. soldiers. And there's so much turmoil between the two groups that it's like I'm done. I don't want to fight. But it's everybody's so riled up. It's like, you don't want to fight. You should have chose that, from the beginning. Your people chose this, and now we have to finish what you started. I'm slowly turning more and more into a World War II fan. I've only ever seen, I think, maybe 3 movies, and one of them I had to do for like a school assignment, and that was
It's kind of funny to say, like, I'm a fan of World War II.
It is.
I don't know if that's the
But
correct way of saying it, but yes.
We get what he meant. We get what he meant. We get what he means.
For me, this movie is a really solid 9. I liked everybody's performance. Shia was good. Brad Pitt's always good in stuff he does. Michael Pena, he's funny and serious. It's weird seeing somebody who can play both roles so good. I still think that kid's from Percy Jackson. I'm gonna look it up. And then, of course, the guy who played Frank Castle, fantastic performances all around. I would watch this movie again. I'd probably watch it a couple more times. This was an entertaining movie.
Okay. Glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Josh, how about
this is my first time viewing the movie. I did enjoy it. I think the performances were probably the best part of the movie. This is I failed to mention earlier, David Ayer, uh, known for director of Suicide Squad, um, the movie no one likes.
you?
He directed this and he wrote this, and this is probably his best movie. I would assume. I haven't all I've seen is Suicide Squad in this, so I would assume this is his best film. There was a lot of like I liked how they showed like kind of like more of the gruesome side of war. Like I liked how they showed the guy's face like smeared on on the side of the tank. I like how they like were showing the tanks like rolling over corpses and that kind of stuff. And like there was some good directorial stuff within the movie, and like some interesting cinematography. Um, yeah, I think the performances though were probably the best part. Like Brad Pitt's performance and all the actors, I love off, everyone. I would probably give this movie a 7. I might give it an 8, like on another viewing. But I don't know. At the same time, like the Norman character, like it's kind of common base for these war movies to have like a kind of like a blank slate character that like you're kind of supposed to follow and like basically put yourself in their shoes. So like I kind of seen that before in other movies, like 1917 is another example of a movie like that where like the characters have a blank slate and you kind of put yourself in their shoes. I guess Norman has more of a character than that character, to be fair. But it's just kind of like a trope that I've seen in war movies before, like where you're kind of like following the fresh blood, if that makes sense, of the war.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, 7 out of 10, solid film. Probably David Ayer's best movie.
Okay. To me, I'm gonna go with like what Jerry's route. I'm gonna give it like a 9. I actually enjoyed it very well. I like Josh says the performances from all the actors is amazing. I liked some of the scenery that they had going on for themselves and like where they're placing them, like how they set it up and found like and had buildings and everything. They're like basically look like World War II era set up and everything. And I just to me, I really want to know how he did all the camera work inside the tank and how they worked with it. Like, did they actually like just made up like a set like a stage setup, or is it like a hollowed out tank? I really want to look into the behind the scenes of like how they were filming because there are certain spots where they are tight. There's certain spots when they had a giant wide angle and you can see mostly all of them. And I know a tank, you don't have that much fucking room. So I wonder like if he built a tank so he can get up most of these shots, or he wiggled some kind of way to have these cameras fit in properly to get angles that they needed to get. That was another thing.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because having a camera inside this World War II tank, and World War II tanks weren't spaces. They were kind of tight. Everyone was on top of each other in a way. And like that's something that's kind of neat. I do have to like at least okay. I just need at least. I may actually buy this movie so I can go watch the behind the scenes or try to dig on YouTube to see more stuff. But I'd rather just buy it so I can add to my collection for me because I actually like really enjoyed it. To me like rating like actors in a way out of everybody like Brad Pitt I don't add into the casting because he's such a well-known actor for like multiple roles he has and does a wonderful job that I don't want to put him towards like any other actors inside this movie because a lot of the other actors are kind of like I wouldn't say like they're like all well known for like their like what they just did in this movie. Like the what's his name? The tank driver, he's more of a comedy guy. I never really seen him in something serious. His acting in this was pretty awesome. Like he was actually doing a good stand-up job doing a serious job just being a tank driver and trying to keep more of a light-hearted to a situation. Even like when he was like they're doing the drinking part, he was being goofy, but he ended up becoming more serious. He's like, like I actually liked him when he's apologizing. He's like, "I'm sorry, I'm drunk." There's like stuff like that, and like I do like it's just they had more grit, like Josh said. Like there's another movie they had. Was it? It was based on a true story. Hatchet something. Shoot, it came out like a couple years back, and that's like to me that's another movie that supposedly is more gruesome than like as gruesome as this because they basically tell you the true like a true story of like what the fuck happened during World War II. I'd like so I'm kind of like from being based off of certain stories here and there. It's kind of neat seeing like them trying to give us a better like a picture than we get to see than other movies try to for this time period. But other than that, I give it. I stand by giving it a 9. I want to know what that freaking movie was called, like Hatchet something,
Hatchet Ridge.
and it's gonna bother me.
The hash slinging
Thank you.
slasher.
It had the Spider-Man guy in it from Amazing.
Andrew Garfield.
Yeah. So next podcast pick is Josh. So what you got for us, Josh?
Okay, so
Gary.
for my short, it's going to be a two-parter. Don't worry, it's okay. We're gonna do
Or like 5 minutes
no.
each.
I mean, we can't just watch one. We got to watch both. So we're gonna do it. It's
Okay.
Batman the animated series, The Demon's Quest Part 1 and 2, and for the main film, we are gonna watch Casablanca, the classic Hollywood movie, known as one of the greatest movies of all time, from 1942. And it takes place in World War II era, which would make sense
Okay.
because this movie was filmed in when the war was going on. So, yes, Casablanca and The Demon's Quest, Batman animated series for next episode.
Okay. If you guys don't want to be spoiled by listening to us talking about it in our next podcast, go ahead and watch it and catch up and hang out and discuss it with us during that next next podcast. Anybody else before we close this out?
No,
I'm good.
Okay. All right. Thank you everybody for hanging out with us and basically sticking through this bizarre / intense adventure that we kind of had to witness from watching these movies and shows. And I'm Superman's pal, Matt. Next, yeah,
that's pointed the wrong way. But I'm
It is the
Josh.
wrong
I'm sorry, I'm different than you guys.
I'm Josh from Metropolis, sending you off up and away until next Batyards finest episode.
And I'm Jerry, guiding you all with Green Lantern's light. I'm no longer a sunflower seed farmer. I'm back to being Green Lantern again. Those sunflowers are good. And We are becoming super pals, one episode at a time.
Bye.
Bye.
See everybody.
Happy Christmas.
Bye. Happy St. Patrick's